Okay, now we're recording. Sweet. Welcome to RUMAD. We're that's that's short for the Rutgers Mobile App Development Club. And what we're trying to do at RUMAD, the goal for the club is to create a community where students can build apps together. It's more than a social club, really. What we're trying to do is we're trying to develop a developer hub where people who have ideas um, can come together and they can build apps together. And we understand that apps are not very straightforward. So that's why we offer a boot camp for those who are interested uh, to learn the fundamentals of app development. And we'll talk more about that later. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to create an end-to-end process um, to be, I guess, in summary, like we're trying to teach people how to build apps. We're trying to provide them a platform where they can build apps once they learn the fundamentals. And then we want the people that we've taught to pay it forward to the incoming students. So we have this ongoing cycle. And really, this is really something that's not seen at Rutgers. There's no mobile app development course like we mentioned before. That's why we feel it's a very special opportunity to be part of this club. And we really we're really passionate about paying it forward and teaching you guys the basics because we really enjoy mobile apps and we just want to talk about them. And that's why we're super interested in sharing this information. So I just wanted to give a small abstract about this meeting and our initiatives, and let's dive into the presentation. Okay. Suman?
Yeah. Okay. So, hi, I'm Suman. I'm the vice president of RUMAD. Suja forgot to introduce himself, but he's the president. So yeah, he talked about RUMAD. He gave us a really good overview of who we are. So we're the Mobile Application Development Club here at Rutgers, and we basically have three different programs that we're focusing on for this year. There may be more, but this is what we have so far. We are going to have app development workshops where you'll kind of get to walk through a mini tutorial on how to build iOS apps or like Android and React Native even. We also have the How It's Built speaker series, which is taking on a different format because we are going to be remote this year. And we also have the Accelerator program, which is basically a program where we select students to go through a boot camp in 3 tracks, iOS, Android, or backend, and get to, by the end of the program, make their own mobile apps. That we'll go into later. But our general mission is that we want to make our members better software engineers, better mobile app developers, and we want to also provide you guys with a community that you could rely on for support. Yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah.
now we're going to just dive into the upcoming events for fall. Sujit's going to talk more about that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like Simon mentioned, I'm the president of the club, and I'm also the lead iOS mentor for the boot camp and the iOS workshops. So the first event that we have is How It's Built. And we initially thought about just having live virtual events, and we realized that that would just feel like a lecture. And like you guys are already in lectures for half the day, and we wanted to change up the formula. We wanted to try something new, and that's what RUMAD is all about, trying new things, experimenting. So what we're doing instead is we're doing a recorded online format, like Suman said, where we're inviting software engineers from Cruise, Capital One, Facebook, and we're interviewing them about beyond the basic stuff, not just how did you apply, how did you get this job, but we want to learn about what was their approach to computer science and what has maybe led them to the opportunities that they got. And also maybe learning about their companies as well on a much deeper level. Like we have someone who's coming in to talk about autonomous driving. And there's so many questions with that. And having an online format that's recorded And a one-on-one interview allows us to dive deeper into those subjects. And we might have a Q&A format following the interviews if you guys are interested. And but that's the whole plan, going beyond what most clubs really do, not just doing like a live virtual talk where it just feels like a lecture and like you got your eyes are burning from all the screen time, but instead we're condensing it to a 20-minute interview where you guys can learn about the club, learn about their companies. Next is the iOS workshops, we have planned for this semester. So usually you might have known that RUMAD is generally a private club. So we have the accelerator and you have to apply to be in the accelerator, and only about 30 kids come in. But this year we realized that a lot of people are really interested in the accelerator and a lot of people are really interested to build apps. And we decided to make it public. Not the accelerator, but we decided to make our iOS workshops public. And what we'll be building together are a calculator app, a weather app, an app using Swift UI, and a reminders app. You guys probably haven't heard what Swift UI is, but I'll mention that in a couple of minutes. But the reason it's in this order is we want to start at the very fundamentals of apps, which is like a one-screen touch app, and then we want to slowly incorporate the internet, and then we want to slowly incorporate new technology, and then after that, implement data persistence. And every workshop is independent from one another. So they kind of go 0 to 60 every single time. And the point is you'll be at the end of every workshop, you'll have almost like half-baked app. We won't fully do it because then there's no fun for you. But you guys will have a half-baked app kind of, like you'll have maybe like 60% of the calculator app done in the 2 hours that we meet. And it's your responsibility now to build up the rest of the other features or customize the app to your liking. And then we want you to put it on your resume. And when you go to a career fair, we want you to go up with pride to whoever is talking to you and show them, like take out your phone and show them what you built. And that's gonna, trust me, I haven't tried it myself yet, but I will definitely leave a lasting impression because that's how I actually got into RUMAD. Like I showed the mentors that I was building apps, the apps that they guided me to build, and I was just showing them off to other people, and like that leaves an impression on other people, and it's really fun, and it's gonna make you feel really proud. So that's the point of these iOS workshops. The first iOS workshop is next Tuesday night from 7:30 to 9:30, and we hope to see you there. Next is the accelerator. So I'm going to pass it on to Ian.
Hi, I'm Ian. I'm the secretary for RUMAD. And like Sujit said, I'll be talking about the accelerator. So the accelerator is a 2-semester program that usually starts in the fall, but because we're remote this semester, we're going to be opening applications in the spring instead. And so we usually accept 30 students, 10 into each track. And the process is basically you interview and you get placed into either the iOS track, the Android track, or the backend track. The first semester, you'll be learning along with everyone else within your track under the tutelage of the mentors. And then the second semester, you'll be paired with 2 other students and another mentor to create an app. And so because we're starting the accelerator in the spring, the second semester and the project will be occurring during the summer. And also the mentor that you'll be working with for the second semester project will also be coding alongside your team for guidance. And we've also extended this program into the incubator, which will be talked about in the next slide.
So yeah, I'll talk about the incubator. So I was a member of the accelerator program last year, and we started the incubator program as a follow-up to the accelerator program. So what it does, so in accelerator, essentially our goal is to equip you guys with the skills necessary to like build and make apps of whatever you want, and it essentially gives you the skills necessary to do that. And in the incubator, It's now you have to practice what you've learned in the accelerator and actually make more, let's say, complicated projects or something that you've always wanted to make. So it's basically actually applying. You do somewhat apply what you learn in the accelerator program in the second semester in spring, but really it's not like an easy thing. It takes practice, and so you really get to do that in the incubator.
And Boss, could you share?
Yeah, I was also a part of the accelerated program last year, and for the second semester, we broke off in groups, and so that's what the incubator program is really going to do. You collaborate in small groups, and it says here we're going to be using GitHub, and that's really what people use in order to collaborate and make apps. So that definitely is going to help them.
Yeah, I'll just add on to what they said. And the reason we introduced the incubator is because usually people would go through the accelerator and they would be kind of lost in their in the club, and they wouldn't really know what to do, and slowly they would go further and further away from RUMAD. So we introduced the incubator, and what we're doing in the incubator is we're providing so students will be working in groups of 6, so the previous mentees, and they'll be working towards a publishable app. So they'll have like 3 phases: the design phase, the MVP phase. So for those who don't know, MVP stands for minimum viable product. So like the base of the app. And then on top of that, you'll be building, trying to build it to a publishable phase that you can ship to the Play Store or the App Store. And this will be the goal of the incubator every year. This year, we have like a small experimental group that we're using. But next year, everyone who is a part of the accelerator will move into the incubator. And that will allow them to explore the environments, iOS, backend, and Android by themselves without the guidance of the mentors, because sometimes we might enforce our opinions on you. And this is your time in the incubator to learn the environment for yourself. Now, moving on to the journey. Isabel, could you talk about that?
Of course. Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm an event coordinator here at RUMAD. I'm a sophomore. I'm studying computer science and I'm studying art as my 2 majors, and I'm going to be minoring in business administration. She, her, hers, yeah. So here is your journey. So as a new student, as a part of RUMAD, you're going to go through this process, as Ian mentioned previously. So within the first semester, what's going to happen is that you're going to learn basic fundamentals of app development. So you're going to learn on an IDE, and depending on what kind of laptop you have, you're going to be assigned to certain tracks, and you're going to learn respective tools according to those tracks. So that's just like for 1 semester. It'll be like a classroom format. You'll have peers working with you, and you'll have mentors like us helping you learn the subject matter. So for the second part of the program, right, that's essentially your second semester. So for that period of time, you're going to be working not only in your program, or at least like what you're familiar with, but you're also going to be working with 2 other people who are part of other tracks. So let's say that I am part of the accelerator program. I am in iOS. So according to the tracks that we also have not only iOS, but we also have Android and backend. That means that I will also be working with people in iOS and backend to create some kind of app idea that we come up with, and that's your second semester. And throughout the process, you'll have events, mentorship, resources, and you'll have hopefully make new friends. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Isabella. So if it wasn't clear, so this journey is for the accelerator. And now I just want to move into the 3 tracks that we have. So the iOS track. Like I said, I'll be leading the iOS track. And we have a curriculum that we laid out this summer to really get through all the topics in a chronological order, so it all makes sense. So initially you'll dive into Swift, which is a programming language for iOS. And Swift is very similar to languages like Java, which you've seen in CS111 and CS112. And it's very similar to C. So C is it's a language that you encounter in computer architecture, but it's very object oriented. So we wanted to really go through the fundamentals and make sure you understand the syntax. After that, we'll be looking at Xcode, which is where apps are made for iOS. It's the only place apps can be made for iOS natively. And once we look at Xcode, we can start putting things together. We'll learn about how to create buttons, how can we add text, and then slowly build on to that, and how can I use the internet to get information. And once you do that, you can now kind of build an app. And then the last thing we'll tackle is data persistence. So now that I pulled data from the internet, I can maybe post it. How can I like persist this data over multiple sessions? So we'll be building together maybe a Hangman or a calculator app, like I said, and then we'll be moving to like an app that requests information from the internet, like a weather app. And then towards the end, we'll actually be building a mock version of Twitter or Instagram to test all of our abilities and data persistence. Moving on to the Android track.
Hey guys, I'm Miles. I'm a junior majoring in computer science, and I'm the treasurer for RUMAD this year, as well as the lead Android mentor. So for Android, a bit similar to with how iOS, you're going to be learning Swift. With Android, you're able to develop Android apps in Java, which a lot of you might be familiar with. But what we're going to be teaching you is Kotlin, which is think Java, except minus a lot of the things you might not like about it. You can do more stuff with less code, and at least in my opinion, it's a lot more fun to write. And you'll see that it's actually very similar to Java in a lot of ways. In fact, it's so similar that you can call any Java code from Kotlin code and vice versa. So we're going to start off teaching you the basics of Kotlin, and then we're going to start with Android development. So you'll be using the IDE or integrated development environment, Android Studio, and then we'll be looking at, we'll be going through a whole lot of different topics, such as different kinds of layouts for positioning things on the screen in your app, how to handle things such as what if you're running an app and then the user decides that they want to put your app into split screen mode, or they want to rotate the screen, or what happens if your app is in the background and then Android just kills the process that your app is running in, because that's the thing that can happen. You'll learn how to have to display long lists of things in an efficient way. You'll learn how to fetch data from the internet and make use of RESTful APIs and all sorts of other fun things like that, as well as just some things so that you can make apps that work well but also look good. And that is about it.
Let's move on to the backend track. Sumin, can you say a couple things?
Yeah, sure. So the backend track, what we're gonna do is teach you guys how to make a backend API. And if you don't know what that is totally fine. You'll find out in the course. But basically, we're gonna teach you how to build something that allows you to send data, retrieve data, edit data, and so on. And this is going to be done using JavaScript. If you don't know JavaScript, that is also not a problem. We'll be teaching you how to use it. Christian, do you have anything you want to add on?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, so yeah, you're gonna learn how to, like, I think you already mentioned this, but just like kind of create, read, update, and delete like stuff on a database. We're gonna start off with just kind of like locally storing the data, but eventually you're gonna like learn how to work with a database, both like connecting to a database and then persisting that data to the database. This year we're doing JavaScript, and the reason we chose that is because like we want to like pretty with tools that are like relevant to the industry. So JavaScript like isn't taught at Rutgers, I don't believe, at least not in like most classes, but it's actually like, for 8 years in a row, I think it's been the most commonly used language according to the Stack Overflow survey. So it's like a very relevant language to the industry, and so it's going to be really good to learn to work with JavaScript. Yeah, I think that's all I have. Did I say my major? I'm a CS major, by the way. Sorry. I'm doing a music minor too, and I'm one of the backend mentors. My name's Christian. I did that like totally.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you,
Yeah.
Christian and Simon. Shari, do you want to just shout out our socials and what you can find on our socials?
Yeah, so my name is Shari. I'm the social media coordinator for RUMAD. I'm majoring in computer science, minoring in digital communication, and we have an Instagram, a Facebook, and a website that you can look at. If there's another form of like social media or like communication that you think that RUMAD could really benefit from, feel free to leave it in the chat, like if you want like a Discord or something. Other than that, this is the best way to keep in contact with us. You can DM us, you can message us on Facebook, and be up to date on all of our events.
Yep, thank you, Shari. Any questions about anything, feel free to unmute yourself. If you want to learn more about a specific track, what we do, what you can expect to learn during the workshops, let us know in the chat.
You guys can ask us like anything about like the application or any questions you guys have.
Yeah, we have one question right now. So
What are
the first question, what are the requirements to get into the accelerator? So the one requirement we have is you have to be from Rutgers. So if you're not from Rutgers, all too bad. But yeah, as long as you're from Rutgers, you can apply. Doesn't matter what year you're in. We accept everyone, and we're kind of like, the way we decide is we decide morally on passion and interest. So coming to our events, that's a good way to show us that you're passionate. So that's how we really make our decisions. We'll put out an application in December. You can we'll have a couple questions on there. Just write a couple sentences, that's all. And in January, if we get back to school, we'll be conducting some small interviews, really informal ones. And that's pretty much it. And then once you're into RUMAD, you go to the accelerator, the following year, the incubator, and then you become a mentor. So when's the first workshop? The first workshop is the 22nd of this month. So it's exactly next Tuesday. And for anything RUMAD, you can always expect events to be Tuesday night. Okay, are there any Android workshops happening this semester? Yeah, there is actually 2 Android workshops happening this semester, and they'll be Miles will be conducting them, and it'll be the same process as the iOS. Also, feel free to come to the iOS if you have a Windows computer. You won't be able to code it yourself, but you can understand the fundamental concepts of app building, and it's just fun to see. You can come hang out. Someone mentioned something about React Native. Yes, we don't have a track for React Native, but we'll be having one workshop this semester, and maybe next year we might try something with a track. Some iOS side projects that I've done. So I built a couple apps myself. So I built like a dictionary app to like hold some stuff, like hold definitions that I can like input when I read. I built like a running calculator algorithm that calculates the time. It takes in a bunch of variables from outside, and it provides me a score that tells me if it's like whether like it's a good time to run or not. Like, is the weather conditions good? And last week I shipped an app to the App Store, and the app is known as Bubble. It's meant to help people stay informed about social distancing practices. So the way it works is it's crowdsourced, and you go on the app. Every user goes on the app. You can go to any store, like pick any store that you want, and you can review it like you review a restaurant at Yelp. And you just can answer a couple questions, and that just helps everyone stay informed. And if you're interested, it's on the App Store, and I really highly recommend that you download it. What knowledge do we have? Okay, for workshops, no knowledge is required. It's from 0 to 60 literally. So you'll be starting at level 0, and then you'll be getting to level 60, or not level 60, but you'll make a lot of progress with your app. Application for the accelerator is this. Oh, go ahead.
For the iOS workshops, we just asked you if you're coming to download Xcode beforehand, just because it usually takes like a few hours to download. So we don't want like to wait while like.
That's a good point. We actually have a prep meeting for the iOS workshop on the 21st for half an hour, and we'll like maybe start up Xcode. We'll just like make sure everything's okay. So please come to that if you can't get it working by yourself. Or if you have any questions, that's another Q&A session. Applications for the accelerator come out in December. Second semester, yes. The second semester of the accelerator is in the summer this year. Usually it's first semester of college in the second semester, but this year we decided to make it the first semester of the accelerator is going to be in the spring if that's in person, and the second semester will be during the summer. It's going to be kind of like an internship experience. You'll be building with 4 other people on an app. It's very similar to like the projects that you work on if you go to a company and you work on an internship. You have an internship there. In what way do building apps help find internships? So internships, they look for side projects. So if you have side projects, that's really something that's really that stands out to them. And on top of that, you learn so many skills when you're building apps. You have to use GitHub. You have to learn another language usually. You have to learn another like IDE. You learn a lot of like concepts like REST APIs, connecting to the internet, and those are things like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they use on a daily practice. And if you don't have those skills, I don't want to be discouraging, but like if you don't have those skills, you'll either get them, you'll like develop them at that job, but it's even better if you have them before. And that's the benefit of building apps. And it's really fun. Like it's really cool. Like that feeling when you take out your phone and show whoever you're sitting next to, like, hey, I built this. There's no other like interface that you can do that with. Websites can kind of do that, but like it's not as easy. It's just really cool. Yeah, Suman has a bunch of responses to the questions as well, so make sure you read those. The workshops give us a good fundamental of app building, or yeah. So Julio put out a pretty good question. Like, will the workshops substitute for the accelerated program? It won't. The workshops will allow you to build apps, but it won't really teach you the ins and outs of building apps. And that's the key thing about the accelerator. And the accelerator program provides you a community. Like, I'll just let you know, you can't build an app to that. It's very difficult, like very, very, very difficult to build an app by yourself and ship it to the App Store. You often need 2 to 3 to 4 more people, and that's why companies get so big. Like, and it's so really good experience to work with other people because you'll be doing that for like the rest of your life if you choose to work at a company. Yeah, iOS and Android, you can consider that as front end. We might look at some database technologies that Google offers, but it's mainly front end. Back end, so yeah, backend track will work with iOS apps, Android apps, web apps. Yeah, workshops will be interactive, so we'll have like 25 minutes, 30 minutes of coding, and then followed by like maybe 10-minute break. It matters what IDE that you use. You only can use Xcode for iOS apps, native iOS apps, and Android Studio for native Android apps. So, yeah.
for backend, it won't matter as much. I mean, I could recommend something, but for backend, since we're using JavaScript, it's like you can even just use like I would recommend VS Code, but like really any like text editor, or like I guess VS Code's like a step above text editor, or like IDE should be good. But I can make some recommendations if anyone wants.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well,
VS
ahead.
Code is like the best one, I think. But I mean, we just recommend in general for everyone to have the same environments because it's like much easier to help everyone, right, Sujit? I mean,
Mhm.
because people
Yeah,
have
for
trouble
sure.
installing like stuff, and it's way easier for the mentors to like actually help everyone, and so that everyone stays together and we don't like get stuck helping one person.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of like keyboarding commands if you guys like shortcuts in VS Code that are like if we introduce them during a workshop or an accelerator meeting, you'll have to find like if you use a different ID like Sublime or something, you won't really know how to do that until like a mentor tells you. So you'll just be on the same page as everyone else, and that creates a good make sure everyone's on the same page. You can't code Swift using Windows, unfortunately, but yeah, I'd suggest like everyone should get a Mac because Macs are they're superior. But yeah, but if you have a Windows, you probably would apply to the backend or the Android track. Yeah, if you have a Mac right now, try and download Xcode. If you feel like, oh, that's kind of intimidating, I don't want to do it myself, that's okay. We have a prep meeting Monday night from 8 to 8:30 next week, and we'll have a small Q&A about Xcode, maybe talk about my first experience with Xcode. It's definitely a very intimidating tool, but it is by far the best place to code, in my opinion, best IDE to code on, in my opinion. It's very useful. Any other questions? But I also just want to add this, like being a part of RUMAD, you'll have lots of responsibilities. It'll be a commitment, but it's definitely a very, very useful experience. Like people will look at your LinkedIn or your resume, they'll see RUMAD, right? And they'll just reach out to you saying, hey, I have an app that I want to build. I actually want to interview you for this X company. But then like you'll interview, you'll do you'll get the opportunity. But then one thing you'll find that's very consistent before you get that opportunity and after is you'll have like a good passion for mobile apps, and you'll have a lot of confidence as a programmer when you join RUMAD. And that's something that stays constant on both sides. So you have your offer in the middle, and you have two sides of you. You'll feel very confident as a programmer, and you can do anything. We definitely teach skills that aren't covered in the intro CS classes. We'll definitely cover things that are taught at big tech companies because that's where a lot of the mentors that were in RUMAD last year, they went to really big tech companies, and you'll see them in the How It's Built talks, and you'll get to know them as well. But they went to really big tech companies, and they're the ones who taught us the practices. And it's just like it's always been a community about surrounded by positivity and just learning rather than maybe like networking. So like we don't really like we do help you guys. We will help you guys with your resumes. We'll definitely help you guys with looking for internships. But the main thing about REMAT is the focus on learning, the focus on building, and developing that passion for programming and like exploring new territories of computer science. And that's the one difference that is between RUMAD and the other clubs. The other clubs at CS, they offer really, really great networking opportunities, but RUMAD doesn't do, we don't do like, it's something that we do, but it's not our primary focus. Our primary focus is really honing down on learning. And honestly, you guys, a lot of people are not sure right now what they want to do, but if you're in computer science, the things that you learn RUMAD will always be useful. Any other questions?
Sujit, when's the first How It's Built talk?
the first How It's Built talk is, so it's not in person, so you don't have to attend anything. It will be uploading an interview with a Capital One software engineer on September 29th. And you can expect the length to be to 20 to 25 minutes. And he'll be talking about his experience with Rutgers, what he's going to be building at Capital One, and just like some tips to people who are just starting off with code. And the next How It's Built talk will be sometime late October 20s, around then. And it's going to be around autonomous driving. There's this company called Cruise. So if you have any questions, DM us and we can ask whoever who we're interviewing. His name is Shashank. We'll ask him the questions that you want. So if you have specific questions about his company, which is Cruise, DM us on Instagram. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting talk because it's supposed to be replacing taxis. The company, it's going to be replacing taxis in big cities with autonomous driving vehicles that will be operating 24/7. So definitely very, very, very cool stuff. And he also he's a Rutgers alumni, so he has a lot of information on the college as well.
And he was also one of the founding members of this accelerator program, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the president 2 years ago. And yeah, a lot of the infrastructure that was built in RUMAD that I'm taking over was built by him. And it was very thoroughly well planned. And he is a really, really nice person. And if you can get to know him, if we have a Q&A session, you can ask him a bunch of questions and he'll give you like a very real answer, nothing sugar-coated, nothing like fake. He'll give you like a really straight answer, which I really like. How long do the workshops last? Yeah, so there are several planned. So we start with the calculator app, then we go to the weather app, then we go to an app using Swift UI, which is the new design protocol that Apple is implementing. And then we're gonna build a reminders app. So if you guys want to like build a small reminders app, there's that. And then we have 2 workshops in Android. They'll be covering very simple apps. The first one will probably be a one interface, one screen app, and then afterwards we'll try to do something with the internet. And then the React Native is just really understanding the fundamentals, what it is, and that will be all. And we have some events planned with Wix that we'll be introducing soon as well. But this semester is just for you guys to show us how passionate are you guys about apps. So when we look at your application next semester, we can really we can understand who you are. So asking questions, being on webcam, that are very critical components to seeming like a very competitive candidate. Yeah, and like I said, RUMAD is the only club on campus only CS club on campus that offers like a continuation, and you'll have like a very specific role once you're in the club every single year. You start in the accelerator, then the incubator, and then a mentor. And if you don't want to become a mentor, that's okay. You can stay in the incubator and build another app yourself. And yeah, that's really fun. It's a really interesting process. You'll probably build over like 10 apps, 10 like maybe 10 publishable apps, like over the course of, or not publishable, but you build maybe a couple publishable apps, and then you'll 10 fully working apps. And that's a lot. Most people don't even have like 1 or 2 by the end of their junior year. So having like a lot of those assignments, a lot of those projects done is really good. And we also want you guys to share anything you learn with RUMAD with your friends. And that's the way you can like really understand the information and what you're doing a lot better. And it's cool to show things to other people. If there's any last questions about anything, are you guys excited? Because we are. Cool.
Yeah, also like apart from like all the learning and stuff, like all this technical stuff, like we really hope you'll make friends here, like, you know, make actually meaningful connections and actually become friends with your peers. Right.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to add on top of that is your first year, you as a freshman, you don't have a lot of knowledge, and you you won't have the interest in building side projects. But once you like get past data structures and the accelerator, you'll have like a new passion to build things. You need side projects. Without a solid side project, it's practically impossible to get um, an internship or an opportunity to build a realistic app or a realistic project or well, I was saying something about internships. So like it's practically impossible to get your resume picked up by a top tech. No, it's probably impossible if you don't have a solid side project. So that's and like you don't want to be that person, right? You don't want to go to a tech company and don't really know. Like you want to feel passionate about the tech, and you want to be passionate about building, and have experience, and that makes the whole experience just a lot more enjoyable. And but once you learn that stuff, like once you'll feel like in your first year you won't know a lot of stuff, but once you come to your second year, you'll develop a lot more maturity as a programmer, and you'll have this need to go to hackathons or build something. In that time, to do well, like I said, you need a community. You need a couple more people to build something pretty significant, and that's what RUMAD will offer. You'll have those people you can rely on, those friends that you've made. Since Rutgers is such a huge school, it's hard to make those really significant friends that you can trust with side projects. You'll have those people around you, and you'll be maybe even publishing apps towards your second year in RUMAD, and then you'll be paying it forward, and it just creates a very tight knit community. And yeah, is there anything else any of the other mentors want to add to that?
Just kind of echoing one thing that Sujit said earlier, one of the things that I've always really loved about making mobile apps in particular is just when you can just pull out your phone and show your friend or show, anyone, you know, a recruiter, just be like, hey, here's this app and it does this thing and I made it and it works and, you know, it's kind of cool. Just being able to do that is a lot of fun. And so I think if you stick with RUMAD and you start making some apps, I think you'll see what I mean.
For sure. Yeah, thank you everyone for attending. Like I said, we'll have an iOS prep meeting for 30 minutes on Monday, next Monday, and then the first iOS workshop where we'll be building a calculator. Actually, if you guys want to see what you guys will be building, I can show you right now if you want to stick around. So you guys should probably give me like 2 minutes. So you guys have an expectation of like what you will be building. So it's exactly the app that you see on the iPhone, the calculator app on the iPhone, and I just think it's a really good starting point. So let's show you guys. It takes a couple minutes to load everything, especially since I have Zoom on. So I'll stop sharing my screen. And let me know, like I still have time to change things up. So let me know if you guys want to like learn a specific thing and I can show you guys that. Share screen. Okay. Okay, so Can you guys see my screen? Hello?
Yeah, we can, Sujit. It's visible.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so this is basically what you're going to be building, what we'll be building together. And we'll be recording the session, so if you guys miss anything, you guys can head over to our YouTube channel and like pick that up. That's why we'll be going at a relatively fast pace, because anything can be looked up. And yeah, so we'll be building a couple of the features together, like we'll have an addition button and that'll add numbers. But I'm gonna leave a couple things for you guys to do, like dividing. It's kind of tricky usually with like math and stuff, what to do with dividing 0, the percentage sign, probably leave you guys to do that. But I'll get you to the fundamentals where like you can try and build this. And then building, you'll realize like the foundation is usually the hardest part. And then once you have the foundation laid out, things get a lot easier. And that's when you can start using resources on the internet to help you like fix small bugs and stuff. And I hope you guys are excited to build that. And we're excited to meet you all next, maybe next semester we can meet you all in person. But over the next few weeks, the next semester, we really hope that you find value from RUMAD, because that's the only goal. We don't really care about the number of members we have. That's why we like restrict. Some of our programs are private. We really focus in on value and quality over anything else. So really hope that you find value from RUMAD and you share it with other people, because it is truly a game-changing experience here at Rutgers. And getting into the program can really like shift your perspective on how you feel about programming, because it's more than it'll show you it's more than algorithms and math. It's taking an idea and putting it into a tangible format that you can like share with other people, because apps, they come from like thoughts, like they're just thoughts initially, and then once you have the tools, you can build whatever you want. The iOS prep meeting is 8 to 8:30. Anytime we have a Zoom call or anything, we'll be putting the link on the website, so you can just go to rumad.club. How many people usually apply? 200 to 300 people apply to the accelerator program. And out of those 300 people, we usually select 30 people, 10 for each track. If there are no further questions, we'll be ending the meeting here. We really hope that it wasn't too much information, and we really look forward to seeing you guys next week. Peace.